Welcome to Infamous: The Complete Story. Now I know I said that this series would be a 5-parter, but hey, DLC came out, so let's make it a 6-parter. This takes place between Infamous 2 and Second Son, and it reveals more of what happened to Fetch and Brent. So let's find out. Things begin with Abigail Fetch Walker sitting in a DUP cell being told that she needs to show off her powers to Brooke Augenstein, the leader of the DUP. But once she shows Brooke what she can do, Fetch then steps up to tell the story of how she got captured by the DUPs to begin with. You see, she began her life as a conduit trying to hide it from everybody with her parents helping her. But after she lost control of her powers in the classroom and she injured a few classmates, her parents were left with only a few options. One of them being, should they turn in their daughter? Brent, her brother, quickly grabbed her things and they hit the road together. Now originally, they were both into drugs to cope with everything that was going on with them, but eventually Brent got clean, and then he tried to help Abigail get clean also. They also agreed that she would only use her powers at a minimum to avoid suspicion. Brent then spent years working for the gangs in the area so they could eventually get enough funds to buy a boat so that they could sneak over the water from Seattle to Canada where the DUP's authority doesn't reach. Once they finally got the money for the boat, Brent bought it, and they were both ready to get away from all of this finally, to a place where Abigail can go and use her powers, and no one will hunt her down. But the local Russian mobsters known as the Occurrence showed up. They blew up the boat and they kidnapped Brent. Furious that they took Brent, Abigail runs off to rescue him, and she meets up with one of Brent's drug contacts, Shane. She decides to work with Shane and help his drug gang out, eventually getting to where the Occurrence are keeping Brent. But after a fun fight, Abigail thinks that she has saved her brother. But Shane double-crosses her and kidnaps Brent. You see, Shane has been amazed at the powers that Abigail's been showing off, and he could use her help for just a little longer to cement his hold on the drug trade in Seattle. Well, Abigail is pretty much against this and wants her revenge against Shane, and luckily one of Shane's associates also wants to help Abigail out. So Shane's associate helps Abigail track down the location that Shane has been keeping Brent. Well, that turns out to be a false lead that Shane put into play, because Shane used that time that Abigail was preoccupied to kill off the person who was leaking all the information to her, leaving Abigail with no other option but to do what he says. Shane then goes out to sit down with the chief of police, while he sends Abigail off to kill the police in force, and that way the chief of police would do what Shane wants. Well, Shane is evil, and his plan definitely did work. The police force agrees to his terms if he can get Abigail out of Seattle. Shane goes ahead and tells Abigail where she can get her brother so that they can leave the town permanently. But it's not really that easy, because the whole thing is a trap by Shane. The room fills up with gas as he tries to kill her off. But it didn't work, and she survived. So she tries to work a new deal out with Shane. Give her her brother, otherwise she'll start killing his gang. Well, Shane meets up with her, and he sticks her with a needle of drugs. And in a drug-induced haze, she accidentally kills Brent. The drugging was so strong that Abigail couldn't fight against the DUP, and she ended up getting captured. Which is how she now sits in front of Augenstein, explaining this story. Augenstein explains that she already knew all of this, and that they have Shane in custody. Would Abigail like revenge? Abigail chases Shane around the facility until she catches up with him, and then she violently kills him. Augenstein says that Abigail's ready, and throws her into a DUP transport with another conduit named Eugene, and one named Hank Daughtry. Saddened by everything that has happened, and realizing that her life is over, Abigail just sits there. That is until Hank reveals that he smuggled a paperclip, and he's about to free everybody. And that's where it jumps into Second Son, which we'll cover next, and we'll wrap up the infamous plotline. So don't forget to subscribe, Twitter, Focal Point, and Google Minus us, and I'll see you guys next time right here at Eligible Monster. Thank you for joining me.